What's up, guys? It's Cobra. The 2024 college football season is over, but the college football 25 content is just getting started. If you're just joining us, subscribe to the channel. We're building a great community here, and we'd love for you to join us. The 2025 season was an overall success for Zach Kittley and the FAU Owls. We finished with a 6-7 record, and we made it to a bowl game for the first time since 2020. We've made waves in rebuilding the roster, bringing in several good recruits, and even a few transfer portal players. But as the saying goes, job's not finished. Redshirt sophomore Kason Wiseman was our backup quarterback last year, but he had a great offseason, and he's developed into our starter. Redshirt senior Philip Rush remains with the team despite losing the starting job. He'll more than likely be our backup this year. We also have redshirt junior and redshirt freshman Jordan Magwood on the roster, as well as Carson Kruger, who's returning, and we have true freshman Jeremy Pape, who will likely be our starter next season. As you can see, we did lose All-American running back Xavier Terrell in the transfer portal to Toledo. Redshirt junior Jamari Sands is now our starter. Redshirt sophomore and redshirt freshman Tremonte Underwood Jr. and Ethan Irvin will be backing him up this season. We only lost one receiver in Caleb Coombs this offseason. Redshirt seniors Dominique Henry and A.J. Jones are our starters. Redshirt sophomore Leon Washington Jr. will be our slot receiver. And then the depth behind these guys include redshirt seniors Jet Kuhlman, redshirt sophomore Jadrian Poindexter, sophomore Jade Card, and redshirt freshman Braden Hawk and Michael Calixte. Redshirt senior Elijah Brown returns as our starting tight end. Sophomore Temez Young and redshirt senior Jakavian Nonar, who is a hybrid offensive tackle, are returning for depth. True freshman Mike Zyman will also be getting action this year. At left tackle, Alex Atkavaj has graduated. Redshirt junior Christison St. Jean takes over as the starter, and redshirt freshman Nicholas Turner will be backing him up this year. Redshirt junior Ovi Dubre slides back to left guard after starting at center last season. Redshirt sophomore Ethan Profit takes over at right guard, and redshirt freshman Landon Rapkiewicz will be backing them up. At center, redshirt senior Darnell Wolf takes over as the starter, and freshman Tavares Levis will be backing him up. For the third consecutive season, there are no changes at right tackle. Redshirt senior Daughtry Richardson returns as the starter, with redshirt junior Braden Ramey, redshirt sophomores Braden Cunningham and Keon Rohe, and true freshmen Hugh Lincoln and Cole Lamar will be backing him up. At defensive end, junior Gavench Marcelin and redshirt sophomore Camden Hardy, who's transferring in from Wake Forest, will be blitzing from the edges. Redshirt junior Wilkie Denard will be sliding inside this season. Sophomores Cameron Gooden and Namari Brantley will be backing them up, as well as redshirt junior CJ Doggett, redshirt senior Christian Parison, and true freshman Steven Jordan. All of the defensive tackles on the roster this season are true freshmen. Rico Thomas, Nicholas Labinjo, Fabian Kuma, and Anthony Henches will all be playing this season. At outside linebacker, redshirt senior Zaire Horton is joined by transfer redshirt senior London Hall from Temple. Redshirt sophomores Jarvis Johnson and Sharquez Lee, as well as sophomores Hector Chavez and Brian Blank, will all be depth, as well as true freshman Darrell Murphy and Roland Hook. Sophomore Robert Lee returns as the middle linebacker after breaking out during his freshman season last year. He's joined this season by transfer redshirt junior James Hurd from Syracuse and freshman Alex Avery as depth. At cornerback, redshirt junior Chris Tooley III and redshirt sophomore Cameron Goggins are now the starters. Redshirt sophomore Lawrence Johnson and redshirt freshman Zion Pere are joined by transfer redshirt junior Kevis Thomas from Middle Tennessee to fill out the depth. At free safety, redshirt sophomore Kyle Boylston returns as the starter. Senior Fabian Scott and redshirt sophomores Mike Wright III and Jaheim Miller return as depth. At strong safety, redshirt junior Antonio Smith returns as our starter. Redshirt freshman Quentin Durbin will more than likely be our nickelback this season. Transfer redshirt senior Kai Stokes from Cincinnati, redshirt sophomore Curtis Janvier, and redshirt freshman Damon Allen fill out the depth behind them. On special teams, redshirt freshman Garrison Smith takes over as our kicker, and true freshman Alex Cox is now our punter. Overall, I truly believe this roster has improved from last season, but we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
The opportunity to throw the ball, so when you get in the game late, you're not handing it off. We were beating Central Michigan by 80-something points. He was still letting us throw the football. It's the defense's job to stop.
The old coaching cliche, go 1-0 every week, and for the first week, they get it done.
Great start to the season. That's what you want. You want to come out, find a way to win. Was it perfect? Absolutely not. You're going to find things to work on throughout the season, but 1-0, that's where you want it to be.
And I think if you're the coaching staff of this winning team, you've got to like what you've just seen. First,
we opened the season with a home game against the FCS Northwest, and the offense exploded for a 73-3 win over the Sharks. Defensive end Gavench Marcelin earned Defensive Player of the Week with his 2-sack performance, and wide receiver Leon Washington Jr. earned Offensive Player of the Week with his 3-touchdown performance. Week 2 is an unofficial rivalry game on the road against the Miami Hurricanes.
Looking to throw it again. And this sophomore able by what they call here. Excellent coverage. He's looking to throw. Got it in the middle. It's what? They'll try to pick up the first through the air. He from the gun wants to pass. And the defense gets to the on 1st and 10. Leaves it with the back. Oh, what a cut! They find it for the field goal. They're going to go to the air on 3rd and short. Can't make the grass, and the angle shouldn't be too bad from this distance.
I just feel like there's a little bit more sense of urgency on this drive. It just feels like they've got to be able to put some points up.
Going up top on 1st down. Grab behind the line. It's Jones. Turns it on in midfield. And this defense is... Red pass, it's complete. They make the stop, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what that's all about.
Ineligible receiver, downfield, offense.
A shot at it on 1st and goal. They get it up. 7-yard attempt. Good right down the boulevard. Coming out on 1st down with the play fake. He lost one down the sideline. The ball back, and the offense will try to put together a drive. Quick strike complete. Oh, the ball's out. Oh, the offensive coordinator's blood pressure into orbit. Reacted well. He's going to pass. And he got smacked. It's over again, and the Owls offense will go back to work. He's past the 30. And hands it off. Oh, he dropped it. That is a 14. From the gun, they'll try the middle. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Hold it. Offense.
Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. Ball in the air, intercepted. And they'll drop for the offense. Looking to the end zone.
Our eye on this one and everything else going on throughout the day, guys.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything. Off play action. Gets it out fast. The ball's free. Oh, indisputable video evidence, and the officials will change the call. And how does he keep running? They keep attacking through the air. Fires to the wideout. He's open on the right, coming up. He's looking to throw. Unloads to the wideout. Got it! Snap in the shotgun. And he's loose. Wasting no time throwing on this drive. And the quarterback is sacked. There are penalty flags down, but this might be doubly bad for the offense. I think the penalty might be on them.
The Owls held their own in the first half, keeping the score close at 13-10.
Trying play action. Getting some heat. Nothing goal unit is out there for the 3rd time. Splits the uprights.
Find your guy. Find those plays that you know you can run inside out, forward, backwards. Get some 1st downs. Get some positive momentum.
Pass interference. Defense.
Defense on third down. Feeling some heat. And there was no offense back onto the field. Quarterback now breaking the field. He's looking to throw. Makes his connection. Open space at the 25. Touchdown, Canes! He's into the lot of options on 2nd and 4. They're bringing heat. And they'll come out on this drive and let it rip. Gets it out quickly. Get it past the marker and pick up the first. Going up top. And the ball is picked off. Got some room to run. He's at the 40. Running inside the 20. In goal. Out of the shotgun on third down. Caught. The Owls offense will go back to work. They're trying to get to it. And he's going to throw it from his own end zone. Snagged in the middle to give you a shot of momentum. Had to throw it before he wanted. This one. Field goal is good.
That game turned into 2.
Yeah, there are very few teams out there that won't watch game film.
And this one is just about in the books. The defense can stop the clock one more time as the offense takes a knee. Sometimes it's just not your day. Things just didn't work, and that seemed to be the case here.
Yeah, they didn't get the W. They didn't do enough. But now you start to think about what could I have done differently? What do I need to become more offensively? Defensively, what can I morph into to make those extra plays, Jesse? That might be the difference in the next game that I play.
Yeah, David, they just need a little bit more.
Unfortunately, the Hurricanes pulled away late and beat the Owls 34-10. But defensive end Gavench Marcelin earned Defensive Player of the Week honors again with his 4 tackle for loss and 1 sack performance.
Here is virtually done. No need to take any more chances. They'll line up in victory formation. And the offense is content with where it is. They'll take a knee. You know what's great about rivalry games? Each side hates every wretched breath the other one sucks into their greedy lungs. Figuratively speaking, of course. And when you win, oh, is that sweet.
It's glorious. To be able to brag, to be able to text message your buddies, to be able to post stuff on social media, it's a lot of fun. I think fans like it more than anybody, but it's something that every year you have a couple games start. This was one of them, Jesse. They took care.
Week 3 was a home game against our rivals, the FIU Panthers. The Owls battled to a 34-31 win and brought home the Shula Bowl trophy for the 20th time. Defensive end Gavench Marcelin continued his hot start to the season, earning National Defensive Player of the Week honors with his 4-sack performance, and following in the game, 3-star safety Tremaine Sneed committed to FAU.
Wants to throw on first down. Deep shot for the end zone. And the pass is incomplete. They were going for the fabulous parting gift, but instead will just go home with a loss. A strong, methodical, workmanlike effort from this team. No frills, just get the job done and get the win.
I love when you describe my teams like that. Just consistent, methodical, strong.
Week 5 was another in-state matchup at home against the USF Bulls. The Owls continued their domination to start the season with a 20-10 victory. Defensive end Gavench Marcelin, for the 4th consecutive week, earned Defensive Player of the Week honors with his 3 tackle for loss and 2 sack performance. And following the game, the Owls got commitments from middle linebacker Tamani Mwamba, defensive tackle Dimitri Vereen, cornerback Akeem Goodrich, and center Rashad Rashid.
And the quarterback takes a knee. Well, look what we have here, guys. After all the early season doubts, these guys have put together a winning streak.
They sure have. Man, they're just believing in themselves right now. This is a completely different looking team than what we saw early in the year. They're playing with so much more confidence. And David, when you start making plays, you start stringing W's together, that's obviously what happens.
Everybody gets the
Week 6 was a home game against the Navy Midshipmen. It wasn't pretty, but we came away with the win in the end, 6-3. The offense struggled to move the ball, but the defense did enough to keep them contained. And following the game, the Owls got commitments from left guard Caleb Shermer, tight end George Buck, and tight end Joey Gonzalez.
Well, they say you win a few, you lose a few, and some get rained out. Would have been good for this team if this one had gotten rained out because they lost badly.
Yeah, not a lot to be too proud about in this one here. Good news is you get to go back to the drawing board. You get to go back, you get to have another week of practice as a coaching staff, try and find ways to get players in position to go out and make plays. Gonna need a big locker room speech after this one, David.
Yeah, and you're going to watch this tape, and it's going to hurt because you're going to watch them with coaches, and you're going to see the mess-ups and all the things you could have done.
Week 7 was a tough home game against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane, and with the offense struggling, the Owls fell 34-3. Following the game, though, 3-star linebacker Titus Owen and 3-star running back DeAndre Aguilar committed to FAU.
Just about in the books. The defense can stop the clock one more time as the offense takes a knee. All business today for this ball club. They come out and they get the win.
And that's all that matters. It's not always pretty. You don't always do everything you want to do or check all the boxes. But at the end of the game, Jesse, you want that W.
No doubt about it. They made the plays they needed to make in order to get this win. I thought the quarterback showed tremendous poise, good leadership throughout the course of the game. Defense made stops when they had to make them. So right.
Week 8 was a road game against the Charlotte 49ers, and the Owls came out on top with a 21-9 win. The offense finally snapped out of its slump, and following the game, we got commits from 3-star safety Brian Putasi and 3-star defensive end J.J. Savage.
Out there today.
Yeah, just never really got into a rhythm for this team. There's no doubt they've got a lot of very talented players on both sides of the ball. So, David, I don't think this is a situation where they need to now freak out and try to reinvent things on either side of the football. Just being in better rhythm early.
Week 9 was a tough road game against the 17th-ranked UTSA Roadrunners. The Owls fought hard, but were simply outmatched and lost 38-17. Following the game, 3-star defensive tackle Jay Drake, 3-star center Nick Limon, and 3-star middle linebacker Jesse Huey committed to FAU.
Well, this was an offensive showcase out there today. We thought it would be a high-scoring game, and it certainly delivered.
If you love offense, then you love this type of game. Both offenses going up and down the field, seemingly at will. Throwing the ball, running the ball. But, David, I feel like if you're a fan of defense, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea.
More defense optional. You didn't really get too much of that stuff, but listen, you got to get a few stops late in the game. You got to get just kind of one stop with this many points.
Week 10 was a home game against the Memphis Tigers, and the game was an offensive shootout, with FAU coming out on top 43-35. Following the game, the Owls got a commitment from 3-star defensive tackle Brian Vaughn.
Win for this ball club as they put together consecutive victories.
And in this season, that's what you got to do. You got to put together good weeks, build on each other, build that momentum, continue to grow as the season goes on.
Yeah, David, it's all about building confidence, and it's really important for these players to go out, work hard in practice, and see that hard work really pay itself off on game day. This is a team that's really starting to believe in itself.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast.
Week 11 was a road game against the UAB Blazers, and the defense held on to secure a 24-22 win. Following the game, 3-star offensive tackle Orlando Rhodes committed to FAU.
Back takes a knee. After the stumble earlier this year, a lot of people wrote this team off. People might be searching for spots on the bandwagon again now.
Yeah, give this coaching staff a lot of credit too, Reese, because they made a few tweaks and adjustments schematically to their personnel as well, and they've really now seemed to find a nice rhythm.
And it's hard to find that early in the season, but the good teams figure out who they are, what they do well, and you can tell they're starting to get in a groove.
Week 12 was a road game against the Yukon Huskies up in Connecticut. It was a defensive battle, with the Owls securing a 10-9 victory. Defensive end Gavin Schmarslin earned Defensive Player of the Week honors with his 2-sack performance, and following the game, the Owls got a commitment from 3-star tight end John Beatty.
You want to talk about building confidence? Coming through with clutch plays, making the winning plays at the right time can really set the course for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Reese, maturity and experience matters, and this team has guys that have played a lot of snaps, they've seen a lot of looks, and they've lost close games like this in the past. That wasn't the case today, David. Too many guys out there making big-time plays.
And I think belief is what you build. That confidence, you know you're going to win. You don't think you're going to win.
Week 13 was a road game against the Temple Owls at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly. Temple came out hot early, but FAU pitched a second-half shutout to secure a 27-20 victory. Running back Jamari Sands earned Offensive Player of the Week with his 4-touchdown performance, and following the game, 3-star quarterback Zach Grossman committed to FAU. The Owls finished the regular season with a 9-3 record and a 6-2 conference record, which earned us an invitation to the American Athletic Conference Championship against the number 24 Charlotte 49ers. During the Week 14 bye week, head coach Zach Kittley signed a 5-year extension with FAU, keeping him in Boca Raton through the 2031 season.
And now they get to call themselves champions of the AAC. That's a major goal realized, but now we have to see if the committee is going to reward this championship with an invite to the college football playoff.
And that is going to wrap it up. We enjoyed this one here.
For Curb Street, I'm Chris Fowler, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.
The Owls hosted the 2026 American Athletic Conference Championship against the number 24 Charlotte 49ers in Boca Raton. The team played well and defeated the 49ers 24-13. Wide receiver Dominique Henry earned Offensive Player of the Week with his 2-touchdown performance, and following the game, the Owls got a commitment from 3-star offensive guard Doug Hendricks. Junior defensive end Gavench Marcelin was announced as the winner of all of these awards: the best defensive player, the best defensive end, and the Lombardi Award. The Owls received an invitation to play in the First Responder Bowl in Texas against Arkansas State. FAU had several players that were named All-Americans this season, including safety Antonio Smith, kicker Garrison Smith, offensive tackle Daughtry Richardson, running back Ethan Irvin, wide receiver Michael Calixte, offensive guard Landon Rapkiewicz, and safety Quentin Durbin. We signed a good majority of our targets from the beginning of the season, although we did miss out on a few opportunities like offensive tackle Mohamed Okoro, who chose App State, tight end Adonis Hall, who chose Middle Tennessee, and offensive tackle Taylor Maragos, who chose the University of Miami. But overall, I'm really pleased with this recruiting class. Defensive coordinator Josh Coker decided to take another job and left FAU. The Owls extended an offer to John Mastey, a defensive coordinator with ties to Zach Kittley in North Texas.
49. A strong, methodical, workmanlike effort from this team. No frills, just get the job done and get the win.
I love when you describe my teams like that. Just consistent, methodical, strong. I don't have to do things special every single week. All I'm supposed to do is get the W, and that's what they did.
And this is why practice is so important, guys. You can tell that this team was locked in way back earlier in the week. They watched the film. They got good looks in practice. They knew what to anticipate. They knew what looks they were going to see. And when those looks presented themselves, boy, oh boy, did they ever take advantage.
The Owls played in the First Responder Bowl in Texas against Arkansas State, and the offense played extremely well, coming away with a 42-24 victory. Following the bowl game, Zach Kittley announced the hiring of defensive coordinator John Mastey. The Owls finished the 2026 season with an 11-3 record, which was their best season since 2019 under Lane Kiffin. Kason Wiseman was our leading passer this season. He showed a lot of promise and could be on his way to being a star for the program. In his first season as a starter, Jamari Sands showed a lot of promise, but he'll definitely need to improve in order to continue being our starter. Leon Washington Jr. was our leading receiver as a sophomore. He'll be exciting to watch next season. The offensive line was vastly improved from last season, but at times they did struggle with some protection. There's likely going to be some changes going into next year. The defense was a bright spot for us this year. Sophomore middle linebacker Robert Lee led the team in tackles for the second straight season, and junior defensive end Gavench Marcelin broke the all-time sack record at FAU. Garrison Smith was a first-team and freshman All-American kicker. What more could you ask for? Alex Cox was a serviceable punter and can only improve going into next season. Leon Washington Jr. was pretty great in the return game, even scoring a touchdown on an 83-yard punt return earlier in the year. A few players decided to transfer out of FAU this offseason, including cornerback Lawrence Johnson, offensive tackle Christensen St. Jean, cornerback Kevis Thomas, and defensive end CJ Doggett. The rest of the guys listed here all graduated, and we'll miss them next season. In the first week of the offseason, we got commitments from junior cornerback Jordan Saunders, junior cornerback Antonio Robinson Jr., freshman outside linebacker Trent Prater, and sophomore defensive end Mike Segal from the transfer portal. FAU's 2026 recruiting class ranked 48th in the country and 4th in the American Conference. We signed 28 three-star players, with 4 of them coming from the transfer portal. There's even bigger expectations for the FAU Owls, and the 2027 season can't come soon enough. Let me know who you're most excited to see play next year, and also how many wins you think the Owls will have next season. We'll see you in 2027.